Okay, happy Friday. We got a video for a set. I think you got hustled. I think you guys kind of got hustled. Before we continue, The Dusk, signed by Crin. I saw you, Pablo. I believe that's your name. Announce yourself in the unboxing under the announcement. You got to contact me on the email of this channel. But you announce yourself on day 4 of 7 days, so you're good to go. Don't worry about it. There's no rush on that. Congratulations to you. If you're interested in being like him and getting a nice set for free, the origin's going back up because the original person didn't do it in the time frame it's supposed to be 7 days. You got to be paying attention to the announcements on the unboxing channel. But commenting below this video is kind of how it starts. I'm going to pull out a commenter, check that he's subscribed to both of my channels, and then I'm going to announce them. And then it's their job to reach out and contact me. Okay? Just so you guys know. Now, aside from that, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit notifications. And if you like this video genuinely, give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it. I sometimes do good videos. Often not, but I sometimes do good ones. Let me go ahead and talk about... I think some people got kind of hustled. It happens. We're looking at a set that has the internal quality as far as balanced armature, branding and quality, and also the dynamic driver of a KZ. But it's priced at $200, and it comes with a dope cable, which I think is excellent, and a nice case. But it's all about the drivers, and it's all about the tuning. The tuning was done quite well. The drivers don't sound very good, or it's got a smooth type of replay. Let me talk about my scoring system. Left side, dumpster fire. Right side, I'm going to hype it, and then you can see what's in the middle. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Competes with its peers right in the middle. I wouldn't really say that that's a wreck. I would say that that's just be aware that it exists if you are shopping in that price range. I don't really think that that's a wreck. Let's talk about music. In the bass, Kill Jill, the triple drop, lowest at about 38 hertz, sounds good. It's got force. Sounds good. It's got the energy to do it. The 4-string bass guitar, the pulls, the releases, the ringing on the strings, sounds good, but it's notably kind of smooth. It's not a really high quality playback. This is all about a set that's tuned good. It just doesn't contain the drivers to do the job to get it over the finish line. The bottom kick drum is authoritative with force like it's supposed to be, as the graph would indicate. The vocals, Chris Cornell and Lane Staley, male vocals sound decent. Female vocals, the Blondie cover by Nina doesn't really actually sound very good, to be honest with you. So I don't think that this type of tuning, and I think people are starting to learn that, mid-bass really impacts female vocals. And this set in particular, it definitely is. I don't think this is something really suited for female vocals. As we get into cymbals, the part of cymbals that can really get on people, remember the stick strike is around 600 hertz roughly. You can isolate that on a spectrogram, depending on what sample that you use, but generally the stick striking on a cymbal is going to be really right in the center of the mids. And then the energy that you're hearing mostly is in the ear gain region. There's really not a lot going on beyond 6K. The 5 and 6K cut on this is taking away the late energy, and if you've ever taken a 5 to 6K tone, listen to that for 30 seconds, that's pretty close to a whistle. That's not a very comfortable thing, so that gets taken away because of the good tuning of this set. So this is not a fatiguing set. This is something that you could listen to for several hours actually without any problem. Also, not just because of the tuning, but also because of the quality. It's kind of smooth, so it is a nice long listen set. The problem that I have, let me rank it really quick. I think coping is working for some people. A lot of people, by the time I got this sent to me by a not happy buyer, and when I contacted and got into talking about it with people, they had already sold it. They moved along. That's how the pump and dump works on the buyer side. They feel like, this isn't quite my thing, and they move along. It's part of the hobby. They're not happy about it, but this is all subjective, so you got to just kind of trust people. Sometimes it's a little bit too far. Sometimes people go over the top with their thumbnails or with their statements and claims. But you got to remember, this is all subjective. It's really, really important to understand the library and the listening preferences of the person that you're listening to before you claim somebody or claim foul. I think a pump and dump is a fair statement when a company that nobody's ever heard of suddenly gets pushed up and said, this is awesome, everybody should buy it. I haven't heard anything like it in this price range. And on further inspection by people that do spend the money, it turns out to be decent, not what it was stated to be. A typical pump and dump item. I'm also going to include this as an item that I'm going to give to somebody who comments below this. You might like this. This would play a library like mine well, no female vocals, and it is definitely for people that are not into technical precision. And by that I mean finger slides on fretboards, breaths into mics, pedal pushes on pianos where you can catch those subtle nuances. This set doesn't do that. In fact, you can hear the quality of the drivers or lack thereof if you really listen to it. And unfortunately, a lot of my time is spent to listening to gear using music as opposed to listening to music with the gear. Does that make sense? I hope it did, because I fall into that a lot. So when I listen to this closely, I think this really isn't something that I would buy. So in the ranking, if I didn't say it already, I think coping is working. And let this be a warning to other people that when you see a bunch of people in a very short amount of time pushing the same thing strongly, particularly if you've never heard of the company. And in addition to that, when the drivers and the what's being used is something you've never heard of. If I bought a DAC or I bought a CPU, I don't know if it's possible with that, or a GPU, and it contains a chip, the brains, all of the muscle, the brains, everything is right there. And it's from something you've never heard of. You would proceed with caution. You know NVIDIA, you know other brands, you know AK chips, you know Cirrus Logic, you know, if something comes along and you're not familiar with that, that should be a red flag to you. And when the drivers contained within a set are said to be not sure what they are, or I think they're this, and there's communications going back and forth, and it turns out that the internals are very, 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 very affordable, which is another way of saying cheap, balanced armatures, it's hard to believe that they are putting out exceptional sound quality. And in my opinion, they're not. Now, in the final point, this is all subjective. My opinion is based on my library and my personal preferences, and you can't personally understand that completely. You can get a kind of a gist of it, but you can't understand. I'm biased because I thought that this set was maybe not going to live up to the hype, because I was literally sent it by a unhappy buyer who felt like that they were suckered. And now I'm trying to explain to everybody, it's not, you're not suckered. You kind of are, but that's the hobby that goes on every day. There's a set right now, and I'm not even looking on the net, but it's constant. There's some set right now that's being hyped by a bunch of people. Use caution if you can. If you're an absolute junkie, like I can be sometimes, you're just going to have to take the risk. And whenever you think you're taking a risk, it's because you know it could turn out bad. Whatever happens, whoever was pumping this in March is pumping something else now. And between now and March, there were maybe other stuff that was said to be competitive to this, because this was just pumped up. And now you take another set and you say, this is pretty good too. If you like this, you should really consider this. It's all kind of linked together. It's the psychology of sales. Sell, sell, sell. Anyway, I'll go ahead and let you guys go. You have a happy weekend. Not slamming on this set, but it's a KZ with nice caps and a nice cable. There's nothing inside of this that's any better than stuff that KZ makes. I actually wasn't going to say it, but I think the KZ maybe has better balanced armatures than what they're using inside here. I don't think this is very good actually at all. Use caution. That's it, and I'm out.